All right, welcome all Marylhurst students to today's webinar on the 3 to 4 credit conversion and what does it mean for you. So we have some exciting things to talk about today and how this is going to benefit you here at Marylhurst. So today's presenters, so you know who's in the room with us, I have Joan Jagodnik. She's our Director of Student Services. Hi, Joan.
Hi.
And I have Tracy Reisinger, who's our Director of Financial Aid. Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
And I'm Simona Beatty. I'm going to be your moderator today. And just in case you hear one additional voice, Gwen Hyatt is in the room. She's our registrar here at Marylhurst.
Hello.
All righty. So here's what we plan to cover today. Kind of why are we making this conversion here at Marylhurst? What classes may have switched? How does this impact you? And then the tuition support for continuing students, so you know what that's going to mean for you financially. What kind of class schedules are going to look like for fall term, and kind of next steps. And then we're going to go into the Q&A session. So just so you know, this webinar is being recorded, so don't worry about writing down mad notes about this. You will get a video of this following this webinar, probably about 24 hours later. So please just sit back, enjoy the webinar, and listen in, and just know you're going to get the video. I'm also going to ask you to go ahead and reserve your questions till the end. So we're going to get through this brief presentation, and then you'll have plenty of time to ask us questions. So just know we will get to those towards the end. All right, so let's get right into it. Starting with Joan.
Okay, so we want to help you understand why we're making the conversion, and you may have already heard some talk about it, that we're switching from a 3-credit model to a 4-credit model. And you may know that the majority of students who attend Marylhurst transfer here from other institutions, primarily from community colleges, and many of the community colleges are already on a 4-credit system. So it's going to make it easier when those transfer credits come in to align with our coursework. So you're not bringing in a 4-credit course from another school trying to see how it fits to a 3-credit class at Marylhurst. There'll be better alignment. It also means that you're going to have fewer classes to take. You still will need 180 credit hours in order to complete a bachelor's degree if you're an undergraduate student. And in a 3-credit system, that would mean 60 classes to take. But in a 4-credit system, that means only 45 classes to take, and so only 45 classes you need to buy books for. And one of the other things to keep in mind, if you're an undergraduate student and you want to be full-time and you're using financial aid, full-time status means taking at least 12 credit hours. In a 3-credit hour system, that means you're taking 4 classes. In a 4-credit hour system, you're only taking 3 classes. So your brain only has to think about 3 different topics instead of 4 different topics. So it's a little bit easier to focus. One of the other changes too, if you're a graduate student and you're using, particularly if you're using financial aid, full-time status is currently 9 credit hours to be considered a full-time graduate student for financial aid. Under the new system, beginning in fall, 8 credit hours will mean that you're a full-time student and you can get full-time financial aid. And if you are a half-time graduate student, 4 credits is considered half-time. So 1 class, you're a half-time student and you can get financial aid if you're a graduate student. Okay. So for undergraduate students, there are some exceptions to the classes that will be changing. So anything that was previously a 3-credit course is likely going to switch and become a 4-credit course. But there are some exceptions in the art department, interior design, music, and in the accelerated business programs. Either they're not switching or not switching in this coming year, or they've already made the change. So some courses are already 4 credits in those departments. Or in the case of the accelerated business programs, those classes are 5 credit hours each, so they aren't switching. The only 2 graduate programs that are affected by the switch to 4 credits are the Masters of Interdisciplinary Studies and the Religious Studies programs, the Masters of Divinity and the Applied Pastoral Theology program. And just a note, for this coming year, there are over 250 classes that are going to be on the 4-credit model. So who is going to be impacted? We kind of talked about that a bit. If you're an undergraduate student and you have, even if you've completed all of your major requirements, if you still have credits to do in the Marylhurst core, all of those courses are switching to the 4-credit model. And if you haven't completed your major yet, if you're in one of the majors listed on the screen, those courses are also switching to the 4-credit model, so there'll be changes for you in that. And then if you're a continuing graduate students do not complete the Marylhurst core, you're just focused on your major. But if you're in interdisciplinary studies or in one of the religious studies areas, then those courses will be switching as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Tracy now, who's going to talk about some exciting news.
Yeah, this is really great news. So in order to help students get through this transition and hopefully what we call hold them harmless on the financial side of it, the university is going to be offering a tuition grant. This is going to be for continuing students. So any student who is enrolled during one of the following 4 terms listed: fall 2016, winter 2017, spring 2017, or summer 2017. So any student who's currently enrolled, who's going to be enrolled next year in one of those terms, will qualify for that grant for continuing students. They must be degree-seeking students, so if you're a non-degree, that's not going to qualify. The classes do have to be meeting an unmet degree requirement as well. So you can't just take a whole bunch of classes and get the grant. They have to be meeting a degree requirement. And the continuing students, you must have been active in the current academic year, the 15-16 year. So those are the students who are going to be eligible for it, any active student who is enrolled during the 16-17 year. So it's important to note this grant is only available for 1 year. This is to help also encourage students to finish as quickly as possible if they can, to hold those students who are close to graduating harmless in this transition. Now what the grant is going to be is for any eligible class. So an eligible class is any class that was a 3-credit class during the 15-16 academic year that is switching to be a 4-credit class during the 16-17 year. So that's defined as the eligible class. The grant will be whatever that 1 credit increase is on that class. So if a student, we're going to be getting a report that shows eligible students taking eligible classes. An example is if you were taking, normally you would take 2 3-credit classes to be 6 credits total, half-time status. But now you're going to be taking 2 4-credit classes, so you're taking 8 credits total. You're going to qualify for a 2-credit grant, 1 credit for each class. So in effect, you're still going to be paying just for the 6 credits next year, even though you'll be getting 8 credits out of it. So the grant will be for any class that is considered an eligible class. In the example we gave before for full-time status, if you were taking a 12 credits or 3 classes, you'll end up with 3 credits worth of the grant, again, if they are eligible courses. So the financial aid office is going to be generating reports, finding who those eligible students are and what those eligible classes are for starting with fall term. It's important to note, the slide here shows the grant will be applied approximately 5 weeks before the start of the term. We actually won't know who the eligible students are until after summer term is over, which is the end of August. So you may have your award letter for next year, you may have your bill for next year because you registered for fall term, and the grant won't be there yet. Just be assured it will show up before the start of fall term, and we will send you a revised award showing how much the grant is. So I'll show you the next slide, a sample billing statement. So say you register for a 4-credit class. The cost, we did not raise tuition for next year, so it's the same cost. It's 463 credits for an undergraduate course. So 4 credits would be 1,852, and then we would apply the 1 credit grant to it for 463. So here you can see you're only going to be paying the 1,389 for that class. I also want to emphasize this is for any student. You do not have to have applied for financial aid to receive this grant. So if you've never applied for financial aid, we're still going to know who you are. Don't worry, we'll get you the grant.
Okay, so this is Joan again, and we're switching to 4 credits. So adding on a credit does mean that there's some additional work, some additional time in class or work on the class. It's not just, throwing an extra credit on there. There's work to do. So that means that the timing of courses will change. Obviously, if you're in a completely online course, well, it's completely online and the timing doesn't change. But if you're taking an on-ground class or an on-campus class, when that class is offered may change. And the class might be offered partially on ground and partially online, so it's a hybrid course. So the timing of those courses also change. So the screen that you're looking at right now shows you when courses will be offered. So if you're trying to kind of figure out how you're working this around a work schedule or childcare schedule or just life, that'll give you a sense of when things will be offered. And we know that this is confusing, so there are lots of people here to help you. Our academic advisors are up to speed and ready to help you understand this. So if you're majoring in anything in the business department, then you're going to talk with Barb Fournier or Sarah Peterson. Any of the other undergraduate programs, you're going to talk with Coco Jones or Ian McCallum in the Advising Center. And if you're in a graduate program, you're going to talk with your faculty mentor in your department if you have any questions. Keep in mind the annual schedule will be out beginning July 18th, and then fall term registration begins on July 25th. As much as possible, when you register, try and make that your final schedule, because as Tracy was saying, they're going to be reviewing those classes and the students and which classes and students are eligible for the grant. If you make a lot of changes, that makes it more challenging and takes longer to get all of that settled. But of course, just be sure you're in the classes you want and that you need. This next slide just gives you the contact information for the Advising Center, for the business major advising, and as well as the financial aid office, because those are the primary numbers and folks that you're going to be talking with. You don't have to wait until July 18th to talk to an advisor. We have some tentative idea of when classes will be offered. The other thing that is a little bit of a shift come fall term, we're changing the Marylhurst core somewhat for undergraduate students. You might want to come in and talk with an advisor or set up a phone appointment or a Skype Zoom appointment and work with them on that. Find out what's going to be the best path for you, whether to stay in your current catalog or to switch to a new catalog.
Okay. So we are at the question and answer portion. So if you have any questions for Joan or Tracy or even Gwen, please let us know. There should be a box on the right-hand side called questions. You can go ahead and type the question in there and we will answer them as quickly as we can. Now here's a little bit of a note about questions. You can type in any question you want, but we will only answer more of the public or appropriate for the public setting in this live forum, mainly because we are recording this and it will be sent out an email to all students on campus. So the private, more specific questions to you, you can type them in and then Joan, Tracy, or Gwen will follow up with you after this webinar by email. So we at least capture the question so we can get back to you afterwards. But we're only really going to answer the ones that are appropriate for the public forum. Okay. So let me get into the question panel and see what we have here. Let's see. So Tracy, this one looks like it's for you. It's regarding financial aid for next year. So will the changes be automatically updated for graduate students from the 9 to the 8?
Yes. Yes. When we're doing financial aid awards for the 16-17 year, we've changed the definition from 9 credits to 8 credits for full-time, and the half-time definition from 5 down to 4 credits. So all of that is being adjusted, and 8 is being adjusted accordingly.
Gotcha. And what a huge advantage to have a 4 credit be half-time.
Yes.
Because that's huge. And if you're a grad student, that just means 1 class essentially here at Marylhurst.
Yes.
In most programs. In
most programs. If you're just registered for 1 4-credit class, we've had some students who are, for example, in business, who are taking 2 4-credit classes, and when they drop 1, they're actually below half-time, and with this change, they will remain half-time and can keep their aid eligibility. So it's a very good benefit.
Gotcha.
The grant and its change in definitions and the freezing of tuition for a year, we're really hoping to help students out in this whole conversion and hold them harmless financially.
Great. And Joan, since you're here, do you want to talk a little bit about the Advising Center and what services they provide? I know many of our students may have not taken advantage of them yet, but just in case.
Yes, well, the Advising Center is located in BP John in the main administration building on the 2nd floor. If you have questions about how classes are going to fit in your core, the advisors can go over your advising worksheet with you, help you think about which catalog is going to be the most beneficial for you, and look at your major requirements. Have you met those? Are there specific things that you have yet to take?
Great, and question about availability of these slides. So again, just a reminder, we are recording this and you will get a video recording following this session, most likely within 24 hours. So don't worry if you came to the webinar late, not a problem. You will get the information following the session. So I'm going to give it another minute to see if we have any other questions. I'm trying to think of anything else that has been coming up in the face-to-face sessions. Any big questions there?
The only thing I could think of is if you're concerned about switching catalogs or anything, the grant is class specific. It's not catalog specific. So if it's to your benefit to switch catalogs, to switch to the new core, that's okay. You'll still qualify for the grant.
Perfect.
And we're here all through the summer, so please come in and see us or call us. We're happy to help you.
Great. All right, so I am not seeing any further questions. So we just want to say really thank you for participating. We hope this sheds a little bit more light on what's happening this fall term. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to follow up to anybody on that screen or with Joan directly or anyone in the Advising Center. We're definitely here to help you. And like Joan said, we are here over the summer, so please definitely contact us if you have any issues or questions. So thank you, everybody, and you will get this video, and we hope fall term.
Thank you.
Thank you.